here's the deal. This lecture, the beginning of this, is just going to be a vent session, so bear with me here. But the law for law number 20 is do not commit to anyone. But the premise, the recurring theme of this is to think for yourself. So you're going to see me very heated in this lecture today, but passionate, so I'll take it. I was thinking about it today while I was doing my training, and I was finishing up on my cardio, and I posted on my story, I said the whole world is distracted. All you have to do is cue and you'll win. Just cue up, just play, just show up and you'll win, because the world is perpetually distracted. And I was doing my Stairmaster because I'm just starting my prep, which I wanted to put a caveat. If any of you guys want to do this prep with me, I'm doing it for the next 16 weeks. We're getting in the best shape of our life. The best shape of our life, I'm calling it Escape 2025. So if you need help with your transformation, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Just send me a message. DM me on Instagram. I've been doing this for 12 years. I want all of us to get the best shape of our life because I want everyone to be free. And not just free physically. I want you to be free in your mind. The whole goal of Rat Life University is to free the enslaved, right? The slave-minded, or the people who are just bound to the shackles of slavery. But let me show you how they do it. I was thinking about it today while I was on the stairs, before we get into this lecture of law number 20, do not commit to anyone. I said in the past week, I've been bombarded with a Luka Doncic Lakers Mavericks trade, Elon Musk, $40 million, several Super Bowl ads, exposing government, and Kanye West tweets. A bunch of garbage. And I thought about it today. I said, what do all of these have in common? They have nothing to do with my fucking goals at all. So by definition, what are they? A distraction from the progression of my goals. I was driving home from the gym, and there's a group of Mexicans saying F ICE. So immigration, right? They're upset about the deportation of illegal immigrants. Car right next to me blasts music. I'm like, I say thank you through my window, like to shut up that noise, that garbage. And I'll explain why that's garbage. And he's playing F Donald Trump. And I just went like this. And I was driving and I just said, the level of stupidity of the enslaved to be so against the very people that are for their liberation. That the people who are fighting this, what they deem as oppression, they're literally cementing their own enslavement. And I thought about it and I said, how has every empire in the history of time fallen? How do you think? How do you think any empire ever has crumbled? The barbarian horde. It's not from these external agents. It's from these motherfuckers coming in, these illegals, and then the house of cards falling from the inside. The rape and pillage from the inside. The barbarians. How do you think the Italian Empire, the Roman Empire fell? How do you think the Dutch fell? How do you think the British fell? All of it. How do you think the United States is falling? You get these illegal fucks in the country, and what is happening? Human trafficking, drugs, rape, and pillage since the dawn of time. How do you have a country absent borders, absent territory, absent... And then what they do is they manipulate these just slave-minded people by virtue shaming. You'll go on and you watch the news of the leader of Poland getting called racist by drawing the line in the sand that we're not going to allow illegal motherfuckers into our country. Why? For the safety of the very people that we're governing. And so I think about these things, and I think about the guy blasting F Donald Trump right next to me, and I'm just like, the level of, number one, ignorance, number two, stupidity, number three, just complete sheep-minded, complete slave-minded, that you have no idea that you're so easily to be made emotionally manipulated against the very systems in place that are fighting for your freedom. For fighting for your freedom of free speech, of protection from this barbarian horde, from all of this trafficking and drugs and garbage. And I say, what is the common theme of all this? All these motherfuckers are so easily made to be emotionally manipulated. Why? Because they don't stand guard at the doorway of their mind. They're asleep so they can go on Instagram and get heated over garbage that doesn't matter. About this Laker former Maverick $100 million contract. Who gives a shit? Kanye West tweets, who gives a fuck? Elon Musk bought Super Bowl ads, who cares? Who gives a shit? What does that have to do with your goals? How does that progress your freedom? How does that close that gap of your current enslavement to the freedom that we're striving for? How? Explain to me, right? And I think about these things, man, and I think about how easy it is to win because there is no competition, because everyone is so fucking distracted by garbage that does not matter. And so all you have to do is just stand idle. All you have to do is just watch these sheep kill themselves, right? Fight amongst themselves. It's all an illusion of division created by the puppeteers. So these fucking sheep will fight amongst themselves. And all they have to do is sit back and laugh while these people don't think. They don't critically challenge the situation. They don't think for themselves. I'll give you a perfect example, and I wanted to bring this in. When COVID happened and it was flattening the curve, I bought that for those 2 weeks. Okay, I bought into it for those 2 weeks. I said, all right, I'll join the cause for the good and safety of the populace. Okay. And then where I said this is all bullshit was probably week 3, week 4, when they were incentivizing you with your God-given rights, that amongst which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They said, if you get this vaccination, I will give you your freedom to travel. And I said, go fuck yourself. Because I asked a critical question. I thought for myself. And I said, what is stopping them from doing that again? Saying, no, all you have to do is comply with this little thing, and then we'll give you your freedom that's already yours. Okay. What is that? How does that relate? Thinking for yourself, not allowing yourself to be emotionally manipulated. What emotion? Fear. When I was traveling during that time, how many motherfuckers gave in to getting vaccinated because they were afraid of nothing? Year 1, still afraid. Year 2, still afraid. 30 vaccinations and booster shots. And I said, at what point, who are you waiting to tell you that it's okay, it's safe to go outside, that it's safe to breathe air? Who, right? This official, this politician, this celebrity. I said, wake the fuck up and think for yourself, because otherwise you'll remain a slave for your entire life. So if the whole premise of this university is to free yourself, right? It's freeing yourself physically, it's freeing yourself fucking mentally, right? And all you have to do is not react immediately. Take a second and think for yourself. Ask yourself, information that's given to me by the news and all these news outlets, why is it free? It's controlled information. They're giving you what they want you to be bombarded with, what they want your minds to be fixated on constantly. So you have to disseminate all of this garbage for yourself and be like, wait, this is bullshit. This might be important and relevant to me. This doesn't fucking matter. So in a world that's trying to get your attention in every way it possibly can, turn the garbage off. Turn off the fucking noise. It's just a distraction, dude. Because you're going to wake up and it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, and you're going to still be fucking enslaved. Because you allowed yourself to be asleep for decades, for your entire life. And then when the window of opportunity that you have right now closes, you're going to realize, wow, I just got fucked with that. Just blows my mind, man. And it's so important that we talk about it, that we encourage each other to stay awake. I saw a beautiful quote and it said, we're all just walking each other home. And I love that so much. We're all just walking each other home, right? As in, we're all this collective. We're all just trying to do our best. We're all just trying to live our happiest, most fulfilling life, right? We're all trying to close that gap, achieve our potential, right? In a world that is trying to manipulate us, that is trying to use us at any given opportunity. You're living out the matrix in real time. They use these motherfuckers for their body heat, right? They use you for your attention. If they have your attention, they have your body to be a slave in the rat life. They have your money to buy their garbage. They have you in the mousetrap, dude, forever, chasing a fucking cheese in the maze, not realizing that you're a slave because you're so buried in the trees that you can't see the forest, right? How do you break that? You stand guard at the doorway of your mind. You think for yourself. You begin to question the society at large, right? Why are they doing this now? Why are they inviting this distraction? What the fuck does this have to do with anything related to my goals, my progression, my freedom? Absolutely fucking nothing. So we turn it off. So we look the other way. So we play our music. That's conditioning focus, consistency, right? Support within our circle. Because we're all trying to pursue freedom. At least if you're watching these videos, I hope that's your prerogative. So with that, and you're going to see how all of the things that I'm saying right now relates to the law that we're going to go over today. But I felt that it was my responsibility to air that because I see it all the time. I see people so easily made emotionally manipulated. And I just say, surely you're not that stupid. Surely you can think for yourself. Surely, because think about it this way. If an entity at large can post something and get you riled up from 0 to 100 like that, how are you not a slave? If you can be manipulated so fucking easily, tell me. I would love to know, right? So when they present you with garbage, you're stoic, you're emotionally controlled, you're composed, you're not reacting, you're considering the options, right? You don't have that arrogance to say, I know it all, right? It's let me consider this side. Let me be open to the idea that I don't have all the answers, that I might be wrong, that I might be ignorant, that I might not have all of the information. Maybe this person has my best interest at heart in mind. Maybe our current leadership within this country is the best freedom and liberation that we've tasted for the past 4 fucking years, from perpetual stupidity, oppression, enslavement. And then maybe you'll begin to appreciate your leadership that you have now. But people don't do that, right? They say, F this guy, F this guy, F this guy. I was in a hostel in Norway, and this guy called Trump a Nazi. And I just did not engage in the conversation beyond that. And it was this guy who you could tell he's never touched a woman in his life. And I just said, my God. I said, the comparison to an Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump. How fucking retarded can you be?
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
But that's the level of programming and slave-minded that people are. And those people cannot be saved. So if you don't have the ability now to shatter, to break the shackles that has kept you enslaved for so long, that has kept you so easily made to be emotionally manipulated for so long, then I don't know what to say to you. There's nothing that I can verbally say that'll reach you. Then asking yourself, what does the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life look like if any given week can go by and you can be made to talk, to discuss, to have all of your attention, focus, and fucking exhilaration and passion fixated on garbage that doesn't matter. I learned this from Andrew Tate, and it was so brilliant. And it's one of those things where, you know, when you're searching, there's a good quote, as you seek, so shall you find, right? So when you're on the path looking for truth, you'll come across, by no coincidence, certain insights. You'll get insight, you'll get intelligence, you'll get little videos that it's kind of like breadcrumbs of your future self guiding you to your path of freedom. So whether you consider that or can conceptualize it's your future self or your guardian angel, your spirit guides, or God. And I watched the videos by Andrew Tate, and it was before he was quite well known, but he was still on camera. And he said, he was sitting at like a coffee table, he said, this is the secret. You ready? I'm gonna break it down for you. All you have to do is be with your group, right? And he said, talk about nothing. And for him, it was making money. Other than making money, he said, everyone who I associate with, every conversation that we have, we don't talk about anything else. We don't allow ourselves to talk about anything else. Why? We don't allow ourselves to get distracted about garbage that has nothing to do with where we're trying to go. And that's the importance of your circle. That's the importance of you curating your reality and turning off all the fucking noise. Not listening to gossip and garbage every time you hear it. Not giving a fuck about the celebrities and every time that shit is posted. Not listening to the radio. Not watching the news. All this garbage that doesn't matter. When you're at work and your coworkers start talking about stupid shit, you leave. You remove yourself. You go sit in your fucking car than being surrounded by that garbage that threatens to infiltrate your mental fucking garden with all of that poison, right? Okay. That's the only way you're going to stay nourished, right? If you want this garden to be, your mental garden to be nourished, it's not only just listening to this, because what I love about this university and these lectures, this is a beautiful garden of mental nourishment, of a reminder to stay awake, right? Of that, but that's a single voice, right? You watching these videos, you listening to these videos, a fraction of you guys are present. A fraction of you are hanging on to the words that I'm saying. A fraction of you are actually here, listening, reflecting, applying, right? So it goes in one ear, out the fucking other, particularly if you scroll all day and so you don't even have the attention span to listen to these messages. You exacerbate that with all the distractions of social media, of the news, of the radio, of propaganda, and then you're lost. And then with all the garbage and gossip at work, listening to all the fucking sheep talking about stupid garbage that doesn't matter, no wonder it's impossible to achieve anything. No wonder it's impossible to close the gap of your potential, right? Because of all this garbage noise and distraction. But imagine this, imagine you had a team that talked about nothing but personal development, nothing but goals, nothing but progress, nothing but getting better. We didn't talk about any garbage. It was just iteration. How can we improve the quality of what we're trying to do, the man or woman that we're trying to become? How do we get better physically? How do we improve our diet? How do we improve our financial literacy? How do we improve our personal development with all of this literature, right? How do we improve our finances, our relationships, our relationship with God? You cut out all of the you prune your garden, dude. You stand guard at the doorway of your mind. You don't allow yourself to be emotionally fucking manipulated every day. Then you are a feather in the wind. And you will get decimated every week by life's, not even circumstances and conditions, but by people. By people. And there's a few quotes that I want to go over from the jump. Here we go. We're getting into it. Law number 20. Do not commit to anyone. It is the fool who rushes to take sides. Do not commit to any side or cause but yourself. But yourself. Bet on yourself. Okay. By maintaining your independence, you become the master of others. Playing people against one another, making them pursue you. Or you're a puppeteer at large, playing people against each other just for the fuck of it. Like when they enforced the COVID mandate of wearing masks, right? Where you could go into a restaurant and then sit down and then you could take it off to eat. But when you had to put it back on to go to the fucking bathroom. You go and you have to social distance yourself to get on a fucking airplane, right? Waiting in line to enter the gates. And then when you're on the airplane, you're sitting 6 inches away from the next person. And you're just like, wait, this is all bullshit. But nobody thinks for themselves. Nobody sees, wait, they're just compliant. They're just a good, docile, obedient slave, ready to be fucked their entire life, like a good cattle, because they don't think for themselves. Okay. Quotes from Greg Plitt that I got from that single quote from Robert Greene. Do not ever put others as a part of your recipe for success. And I made that mistake constantly. I would put others a part of my plan, right? That in order for this to work, I need my brother to do this. I need this woman to do this. I need this person to buy this product. I need this sale. I need this relationship, right? I need my boss to do this. Greg Plitt says, he goes on to say, if you put others as part of the equation for your recipe for success, you will be gravely mistaken by the result of that equation. And it is very true. I've been disappointed, let down so many times, not understanding that you cannot control the actions of another person. And if you go in your entire life saying, I can't achieve my goals because of another person, then you're at the whim of that other person your entire life. How convenient, right? That's the victim narrative, right? I can't achieve X because I'm waiting on this person to do Y. There's a good quote from the book Meditations. This is one of my favorite books ever, man. No one can stop your nature's design. No one but you. Even the shit that I'm going through right now at work, my serpent motherfucker thinking she can inhibit my progression. I said, and I love that I read this book while I've been within the rat life, right? Planning and working and ceaselessly pursuing my freedom and my escape. But I said, because I always stand guard at the doorway of my mind, I said, you have to be, the level of stupidity has to be unmatched to think you are going to stop my progression and me reaching my fucking potential, right? You, a common snake, a garden serpent, there's no fucking world. But that's, people limit their goals and they use other people as the excuse, as the scapegoat, as to why you didn't achieve what you sought out to achieve. And you let one peasant be the roadblock for your freedom, for your family's freedom. That's all it took, is one person coming into the video game of your life saying, you shall not pass. Imagine this. I learned this from, I think it was Simon Sinek. You're driving on the road, right? You're going from Los Angeles to San Francisco. 200 miles in, you get a road closed. What are your options? What do you do? I learned this from Greg Plitt. Do you go back to LA? Do you call it quits there, saying, journey's over, I'll just set up camp here? Or do you find a new fucking path? Okay, another quote from Meditations. Because we as humans are adaptable, any obstacle that comes into our way we can overcome. Therefore, the obstacle becomes the way. Do you understand? It's why no person can inhibit your nature's design. They can simply only serve as a stepping stone for you to persevere. All right. So don't ever put others as a part of your recipe for success. You will be gravely mistaken by the result of that equation. Next. If you bet on yourself, you will never lose that bet. Me pursuing entrepreneurship, me being very consistent now with these videos, me putting all of my chips on myself, inevitable success. If you bet on yourself, you will never lose. Period. If you don't have a plan, and this is the most important part, and where I tie it into being so easily made to be emotionally manipulated. If you don't have a plan, you will be used by someone else as a part of their fucking plan. It is so important. And if you allow yourself to be used by someone else as a part of their plan, how productive do you think you're going to be in closing the gap of your own goals and your own progress and your own freedom? Not very. It's the importance that if you don't have a plan, you will be used by somebody else as a cog in their wheel, as a rat in their maze, okay? And then you're going to wake up 40 fucking years from now realizing, wow, I was a slave the entire time. And then you're going to go a step further, and you're going to justify and rationalize why it was okay that you gave up and diminished and minimized your goals and your dreams and your passions. And then you're going to explain and justify that garbage to your family, to your wife, to your kids. I don't tolerate that garbage. It's fine if you can sell that lie to yourself and you can look at the fucking mirror and make eye contact with yourself of that bullshit, right? Don't insult my fucking intelligence by spewing that garbage to me. You're better than that. Okay. If we see that someone, quote from the book, if we see that someone is desired by other people, we tend to find that this person desirable too. And it is a bit of a tangent, but the whole idea of not committing to a person, it's an idea of social proof that people like things that other people like, right? It gives subconscious value to it. So you'll see this with guys all the time. If a guy's walking around with a really attractive girl, other girls looking at that, they have social proof that there has to be something about this guy that would garner the attention of this attractive woman. Could it be his money? Could it be his access? Could it be his status? Could it be his looks? Could it be whatever? But that immediately gives the suggestion of value to other people. So it ties in, and he ties this in with don't commit to anyone, simply to increase your respect perceptively, right? The perception of your respect, how it's perceived from others, okay? To perfect this tactic, you need to keep yourself inwardly free from emotional entanglements. Stand guard at the doorway of your mind, okay? And to view all those around you, this is so important. This is so important. So I'm going to reiterate it. To perfect this tactic of do not commit to anyone, okay? You need to keep yourself inwardly free from emotional entanglements and to avoid all those around you, to view all those around you as pawns in your rise to the top, okay? So think about this. You're the puppeteer, okay? Controlling the sheep, controlling the slaves, the slave-minded people. All you have to do is keep them emotionally entangled and view them as pawns that you can fucking manipulate at will, that you can sacrifice at will, that you can send off to your bullshit wars at will. Do you understand? It's the importance of you not being emotionally manipulated, thinking for your goddamn self. Otherwise, you will be used by someone else as a part of their plan. You will die in bullshit wars as a part of their agenda. Okay. And I put my commentary, the seduction of the rat life trap and comfortability. That's how you get emotionally manipulated. And I was falling into that trap at work, where you're getting pretty comfortable, you're liking some of your coworkers, and then you will blink and it'll be 10 fucking years from now. And so it's so important to stay hungry, to stay in a state of discomfort, because that is how you get lulled to fucking sleep within the rat life. And then your goals and your ambitions and your drive and your passions, they slowly dissipate until they're gone forever, lost forever. And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you're fucking in your 40s, in your 50s, and you're miserable and you hate your fucking life. And you're leading a quiet life of desperation because you allowed yourself to be lulled to sleep, to be emotionally manipulated. So that is the seduction of the rat life trap. Don't fall prey to it. Don't allow yourself to get emotionally entangled and then be used as a fucking pawn. Okay. Viewing relationships as transactional. So I put this as a note to my development. I would do that. I would view relationships as transactional. And this is how you know you're in the novice stages of your personal development, where you're viewing your world in a very lack state. And I would say, you're only of value to me so long as you provide this service that I'm looking for. So if I was looking for a sale, it would be conditional love, conditional acceptance, conditional appreciation, value. That under the condition that you're going to buy my product, that is the only grounds for your value or worth or use to me. And I would do that for relationships, that if I like this woman and you're not going to reciprocate romantically, then you're of no use or value to me. I would do that with every category, okay? What I didn't know is that is living in a state of lack, because the person who's not purchasing your product, they could be your biggest fan. They could just not use the product themselves. They could be a testimonial. They could be a plethora of referrals. They could be a referral for your future wife. Like, you have no idea. And that's living in an abundant state. And that's the importance of just giving and giving and giving for the sake of giving, understanding that, dude, it will come back to you. And so I switched my entire mindset that I don't give a shit about getting something from you. I want to give to you because I know it's going to come back to me by God, by the universe, by the law of reciprocation. As you sow, so shall you reap, which is in the Bible. That is God. So that is how you progress in your personal development and quit living in a state of lack and viewing relationships transactionally, as in, what am I getting from you? And if I don't get what I want from you in this context, then you're of no value to me. And I had to break that horrifically limiting belief, because a person who's not your customer, they could be a possible suitor. The person who's not a good suitor, they could be your best investor. And the person they could be your dentist. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you'll progress with your professional, personal development. Okay. And practice living in a state of abundance and not in lack. Okay. And this is a really good quote from the book. The source of Isabella's power was her clever ability to seem interested in the affairs and interests of each side while actually committing to no one but herself and her kingdom. It's that premise that's going to be the law for tomorrow of 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. Playing the fool to fool the fool. And the elites at large are so brilliant at this. They'll get these people squabbling and fighting amongst themselves, dude. And all they have to do is sit back and fucking laugh as their slaves enslave themselves. Good quote from The Matrix. Some people's minds aren't ready to be freed, so they will fight against the very system to defend the very system that's enslaving them.
Most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it.
So don't be that guy. Don't be that woman, dude. Don't allow yourself to be so easily manipulated. Think for yourself. That's the whole context of this university. Perspicacity, right? Awareness, not being asleep, right? Not taking everything for face value, challenging the material, questioning what I'm saying in these lectures. Think for yourself, form your own philosophies, your own truths, right? But that are conducive to your betterment, right? Not to your enslavement, okay? Do not allow yourself to be used by others with your mind and your time occupied by their problems. And I put, only fools rush into a situation. It's the importance of not reacting constantly. React. That is the epitome of someone who has no emotional control and someone who is so easily who is so easily to emotionally control and manipulate is somebody who you can just get reacting. If I can say something, if I can post something and it'll trigger the fuck out of you, you're a very, very weak opponent. Do you understand? It's the person who thinks for themselves who's the most terrifying to an elite at large trying to control the masses. Why? Because you can't control a motherfucker who thinks for themselves, right? That is a cancer to them. That's why, I don't remember who it was, I think it was Socrates or Aristotle. They got imprisoned and then poisoned for, his sentence was for corrupting the youth. A philosopher that just got people thinking for their fucking self. That's corrupting the youth. Why? Because he planted a seed to invite the idea to challenge the society that you live in, to question the society that you live in. How terrifying of an organizational structure at large where the people begin to think for themselves. They begin to question and challenge the oppression, the attempted tyranny, all of the governance by these elites and these powers. Wait a second, all this garbage that you're doing with COVID, you're using the guise of safety to take away my freedoms. And that is always their go-to. They'll say, no, this is for your safety while we impose martial law. This is for your safety while we impose your slavery, while we take away your God-given rights, that amongst which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We'll give you back your freedom to travel so long as you get this bullshit vaccination. Just comply. Just comply. There's a good story where they interview a survivor from the Holocaust and they say, we were always asked why we never fought back. And he said, it didn't happen all at once. It was just a little thing. And so anytime they implemented a new thing, we just said, oh, don't worry. It's just another little thing, until it wasn't. I learned this from Jordan Peterson. The way tyranny is enforced is they take an inch, and then they take an inch, and they take an inch over the span of years until riot happens, until the people finally say fuck off, right? And then they'll back off an inch. And then they come back again, and then they fuck off once the people stand up and fight and say enough. And he said over the span of years, they haven't taken inches. They haven't taken meters, yards. They've taken miles. And then you live in a new learned state, a new normal, right? A new world order where you have gotten your freedoms taken from you slowly but surely over time. Next thing you know, you're in this social credit system. You're living out 1984. You're a fucking slave, dude, where you have a 15-minute city where every transaction you make is going to be documented. Everything that you do, they can track you. You have a social credit score that if you don't comply with the fucking government's policies, you can't go to this city. Your money doesn't work here. Like, that's the direction that we're going. When people are fighting against freedom and cementing their own enslavement by allowing themselves to be so manipulated so easily by not thinking for their fucking self. And so if you want to be free, if you want to close the gap of who you are and the potential of who you can be, dude, you have to free your mind. You have to free your mind. That's the importance of this university. That's the importance of all of this literature, is you thinking for your fucking self, because no one's coming to save you. You will blink and it'll be 50 years from now and your life will be forfeit, right? So it's all food for thought though, dude. It's all food for thought. But to reiterate, do not allow yourself to be used by others with your mind and your time occupied by their problems. Who gives a fuck about Kanye West, about Luka Doncic and his contract from the Mavericks to the Lakers? Who cares? Millions of people do. Why? Because they're fucking slave-minded. Okay. And I put how social media so easily emotionally manipulates the masses. Infinite pawns to be used at will for an agenda not their own. I put, don't waste your life dying in a fool's war. That's a quote from the movie Troy. Stand guard at the doorway of your mind, or else you'll be that guy dead in a fucking ditch for nothing. And if you think that's the only way to die, dude, they'll have you be that frog in boiling water. They won't boil it immediately. They'll fucking cook you to death over time. That's everyone who's living the rat life, who's very comfortable, who's very distracted, who's very emotionally manipulated easily. Wake up. Wake up, think for yourself, question what's happening, turn off the fucking noise, stop being distracted, focus. Have you written down your own goals of what you're trying to do, of where you're trying to go, of the body that you want to create, of the finances that you want to have, of the relationship that you want to cultivate? Do you even know where you are now? Have you even done the iteration of the habits that you're continuing to entertain? How easy are you distracted? What vices do you have? What garbage do you keep indulging in? At what point are you going to clean the shit the fuck up? This is what holding back from the fray allows you. Time to position yourself to take advantage of the situation once one side starts to lose. And I put that applies to work, war, and dating. And so in work, the weasel is the one that doesn't commit to anyone, and they sort of slither to warmer climes as it suits them. Don't be that guy. Don't be a weasel rat. In dating, women will hold off for their best possible option. It's just biological in them. So everyone is constantly looking for their best possible option, their best possible mate. From a biological perspective, for the betterment of the continuation of their species, sort of a deal. And it's actually fascinating. I don't know where I learned this from, but when you have a group of women together, their cycles will align with the alpha woman of the group. And it's fantastic because when the alpha woman is off the market, then all of the women are off the market. And it's just awesome because that's nature making it so the best possible species, future kin, are the ones who, come into play in terms of selection. And it's just, I just think that's wicked. I think that is so cool. But it applies to position yourself to take advantage of the situation once one side starts to lose. So oftentimes you'll see this in dating where people will just wait for the finished product, and social media exacerbates this. And it's the unfortunate reality of people not going with the person from day one. Very rare do you find day one women anymore because they're just waiting for the finished product. It's like, why go through the thick and thin with this person when I could just get a DM from the blue check mark, from this athlete, from this musician, from this millionaire already. They already have a yacht, they already have millions of dollars. And so what happens is this person who is able to elicit the attention of this person, they don't get wifed by that person, but they'll get sexual access to this person. And it's just unfortunate because then at times then the tables turn. So the person who is here at day one, by the time that they're made it, they have all the options. So women have all the options. I don't want to go on a tangent here, but there's so much data on dating apps, and they've studied that when women have their peak, what they call sexual marketplace value. So when they have the most attention, the most likes, the most swipe rights than any time ever. And they've measured this across any demographic, any age group, and women have their peak SMV, sexual marketplace value, where they're like the most, swipe right the most, message the most, at 23. And they did the exact same thing for guys, and it's 36. So women are at their peak in terms of attention from guys from 18 to 90, from any orientation, any demographic in the entire world, at 23 years old. But then they go on this, curve, and then guys, they get their peak SMV, sexual marketplace value, where they get the most attention, swipe rights, messages, at 36. So the tables turn. So women, they have their most options in their 20s. Guys, it's in their 30s. And so the women who don't entertain these same guys when they're in their 20s, the tables turn, where why would this person want to be with you see this on dating apps, I'm speaking in the general sense, but why would the 36-year-old who has his life entirely set up, why would he want to be with the 36-year-old when the next person on his dating app is a decade younger? That's a decade less of experience. That's a decade less of sexual experience, of trauma, of fertility, of heightened fertility by being a decade younger. So that's more children that this person can hope to bear. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, it's a huge tangent, but it's important to articulate because it's actually a shame that all happened as a consequence of social media and dating apps, because my grandparents, they were married 19 and 17. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being married for 62 years to your high school sweetheart? And then you get to experience the entirety of your youth together. There's no SMV, there's no all this bullshit, there's no access to people beyond the 5-mile radius of your city. So if you didn't have your mate, selected when you were in high school, you could be a spinster Like, how much more gratitude and appreciation did people have for their relationships? How much more effort did they put into working through problems, right? Instead of today's greener grass culture, onto the next, onto the next, onto the next, looking for better, looking for a better option. But he talks about this in this law, that's why I wanted to bring it up, that this is what holding back from the fray allows you. Time to position yourself to take advantage of the situation when one side starts to lose. But the way that you develop the greatest bond, the greatest relationship, a long-lasting kingdom relationship, dude, is by going through it, growing through it, dude. By being whole yourself, right? Not having attachment or dependency on another person, like trauma attachment, trauma dependency. I have a fear of abandonment or something. Not doing that. Being healed, being whole within yourself, that the other person's a bonus. And then 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, dude. 1 + 1 = 3 or 1,000. So it's the importance of not being the person that's just waiting at the finish line, dude. Excuse me, but that's just the world that we live in today with social media and dating apps. A serpent will try and place two sides against each other. My serpent would do this, dude. And it was so pathetic. And I was just like, you're just such a fucking idiot. I would be in these meetings and my serpent would try to use verbal manipulation. And I told you, women impose their will because they can't impose their will or don't impose their will physically. They'll do it with gossip, rumor, innuendo, and reputation tarnishing. And the way that mine would do it is somebody who I had exalted respect for and trust would try to spin a narrative that this person has lost trust with me. And they would actually have the fucking audacity to say that. Oh, this person, they don't trust you anymore. And it was so pathetic to hear. And the only thought that I had is, how the fuck are you a leader? How are you in a leadership position, you fucking snake? So it's, again, the importance of standing guard at the doorway of your mind. Why? Because a serpent will try to play two sides against each other. Don't be one of the sides playing against another side, a pawn for this person's fucking agenda. What do you say? Go fuck yourself. And you don't even have to do that verbally, dude. Karma will take care of them. God will take care of them, right? But you stand guard at the doorway of your mind. You think for yourself, not what a fucking forked-tongued viper has to say. Okay. Remember, you have only so much energy and so much time. Every moment wasted on the affairs of others subtracts from your own strength. Maintaining your independence and self-reliance will gain you more respect and place you in a position of power from which you can choose to help others on your own initiative. It's very true, dude. If you stand guard at the doorway of your mind, you'll see your goals slowly get reached. You'll see progress. You'll gain momentum. You'll close the gap of who you are and the potential of who you can be. You'll start seeing, we hit 261 subscribers today. That's an all-time high, dude. Why? From consistency for 1 week. 1 week of consistency. We're creating a garden that now more people can come into. And so I'm so happy that I'm documenting you guys when I'm happy, when I'm happy-go-lucky, when I'm passionate. But that passion is also in these kind of videos. Because if you don't get the vibe of authenticity of my disposition for freedom and my hatred and disdain for enslavement, then you don't know me, man. Then you don't know Tarek Hawks. But if you can't see through the veil, that dude, I have one prerogative, right? It's to be free. And then it's to help save and help heal and help guide and help bring as many souls with me, dude, on the path to freedom. And so unless you challenge the status quo, dude, unless you think for yourself, unless you open up your fucking eyes, dude, unless you have the humility to say, maybe I don't have all the answers, maybe this is bullshit, right? But you begin to critically think, right? You begin to, have those conversations with your peers that, hey, maybe this is bullshit. Maybe we shouldn't react immediately. Maybe we should, consider the motive of the one speaking on this matter, right? It's just, I don't know. I don't. So what do I do, right? How do we be productive of this? What I do is I focus on watering my own garden, right? I'm focusing on everything that I can control. Not a bunch of garbage that doesn't matter. Not this stupid fucking celebrity. Not this basketball player. Not this artist. Not people I don't give a fuck about. That have nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with my life. Nothing to do with my goals or my progression, right? Or what I'm trying to build, right? This garbage is noise. It is a distraction. And I want you to ask yourself in this iteration, in this reflection from this lecture, am I the kind of person that is so easy to manipulate? If that answer is yes, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're honest with yourself, ask yourself, how? How? Why? Right? Why am I so easy to manipulate? And that is a question that's going to force you to look internally, intrinsically. Look at yourself in the mirror to see, am I slave-minded? Am I slave-programmed? Good question when you get so heated about something that doesn't fucking matter and doesn't relate to your life in the slightest. Ask yourself, why am I so heated about this belief system? When did I harbor this stance on this? Was it a day ago when it got posted on social media? Because a week ago I didn't give a fuck about this. Then why am I so angry about this now? And you could say, Targ, you seem pretty angry in this lecture. No, what is frustrating is the recurring theme of so much fucking stupidity. There's a new flag out there on the corner when I'm driving home every other week. There's a Ukraine flag, there's a Mexico flag, there's a Palestine flag. It's just, stop being so fucking distracted. Stop being so fucking manipulated. So easily made to be manipulated, right? Because what does that reflect? It reflects the pawn that you are. You don't have a plan, you're being used by someone else's plan. They could post a video and it's gonna get you on this corner talking about immigration, of illegal immigrants, or deportation rather, of illegal immigrants. What the fuck are we talking about? I wanna know. Donald Trump, the liberation of this country from 4 years of tyranny and oppression, stupidity. It's just crazy, man. It blows my mind, dude, that's all. And I feel the need and the responsibility to share this, because if we don't walk each other home, right? If we allow each other to fall asleep, right? In this life, in this experience, in this one chance that we have, dude, for freedom forever, we're doing each other a disservice, right? If we don't check each other, hey, wake up. Hey, are you still awake? I saw that you were asleep there. No, it's okay, it happens, don't worry. We all get distracted, we all get led astray. We all get heated about bullshit that doesn't matter from time to time. The system is set up to where we can get manipulated very, very easily. We get heated very easily by this propaganda, by this garbage, by this news article, right? By this what we hear from the celebrity that we once loved and trusted. But they're saying this? That guy? Ask yourself, what the fuck does this have to do with you? What does this have to do with your goals? What does this have to do with your progression? What does this have to do with your freedom? Fucking nothing. How does this help your family in any way, or the people that you're trying to lead to freedom? Oh, it doesn't at all. It utterly and absolutely doesn't in the slightest. So why the fuck are we spending any time discussing it, being distracted by it, being manipulated by it, going out in fucking corners about it, blasting this music about it? Wake the fuck up. I will see you tomorrow.